Why are thousands of nurses walking away from the hospital bedside, not to quit healthcare, but to join pharmaceutical companies, biotech startups, and clinical research firms? Because the truth is this: hospitals are burning out their most valuable people, and nurses are realizing they deserve more. This isn't just a story about leaving. It's a story about leveling up. For decades, nursing was framed as a calling. Long shifts, emotional labor, and endless sacrifices were simply part of the job. But let's get real. Nurses are drowning. 12-hour shifts that turn into 16. Staffing shortages that never seem to end. Emotional exhaustion from being everything to everyone: caregiver, counselor, problem solver. And then there's the financial side. While hospitals boast about being heroes, the paycheck doesn't match the workload. So, what happens when the most educated, adaptable, and clinically skilled group in healthcare finally says, enough is enough? They walk. And increasingly, they're walking straight into pharma. But why pharma? Why biotech? Why medical affairs? Because nurses bring something pharma desperately needs: real-world clinical expertise. Pharma companies create therapies, devices, and trials, but they often lack insight into what actually happens at the patient's bedside. Nurses bridge that gap. In clinical research, nurses manage trial protocols, ensure patient safety, and communicate complex science in human terms. In medical affairs, nurses educate doctors about new treatments, review evidence, and help bring therapies to market. In biotech, nurses translate clinical data into strategies that drive innovation. The industry knows it, and they're paying nurses, sometimes double, even triple hospital salaries, to do it. Let's be honest, this isn't just about money, it's about lifestyle. In pharma and biotech, nurses are finding predictable hours. No more 3 AM codes or back-to-back doubles. Respect. Your voice isn't just heard, it's sought out. Growth. Instead of hitting a ceiling, you climb ladders. Clinical operations, project management, executive leadership. And perhaps most importantly, you get your life back. The energy to be present with your family. The freedom to pursue passions outside of work. Now, some will call this betrayal. They'll ask, if all the nurses leave, who will care for the patients? But here's the uncomfortable truth. Hospitals created this crisis. They ignored burnout, cut staffing to save costs, and pushed resilience training instead of real change. This isn't abandonment. This is evolution. Nurses aren't fleeing healthcare. They're transforming it from the inside out. By joining pharma, they shape the very treatments hospitals rely on. And patients still benefit. Take Maria, an ICU nurse. Burned out after years of night shifts, she transitioned into clinical research. Today, she's leading oncology trials that could save thousands of lives. Or David, an ER nurse who joined a biotech startup. He now works on devices that make emergency care safer and faster. These aren't outliers. They're part of a wave, from bedside to boardroom. So how do you transition? First, leverage your clinical expertise. Don't underestimate how valuable your bedside experience is. Pharma doesn't just want scientists, they want clinicians who understand patients. Second, upskill strategically. Consider certifications in clinical research, or short courses in medical writing, regulatory affairs, or data management. Third, network. Connect with recruiters, join LinkedIn groups for clinical research professionals, and attend pharma conferences. And finally, start small if needed. Many nurses begin in contract roles, site monitoring, or patient advocacy before climbing higher. Your stethoscope was just the beginning. Now, it's your passport to influence. The movement of nurses into pharma isn't just a career shift. It's a revolution, a redistribution of power in healthcare, a demand for respect, balance, and growth. A reminder that nurses aren't just workers. They're innovators, leaders, and changemakers. This is the future of nursing. So, if you're a nurse listening to this, exhausted, undervalued, wondering if this is all there is, it isn't. There's a world beyond the hospital walls. A world where your skills are not just respected, but rewarded. And maybe it's time you stop asking permission to be valued and start writing your own story.